Internet fame is a very strange thing. In the past couple years, we have seen the rise of people becoming famous seemingly overnight and seemingly for no reason. Whereas people before would have to do something shocking and impactful to break into some kind of mainstream success, now it only requires 6 seconds or less of internet infamy to decide that you are one of the chosen ones. And before I get comments saying, well, Kim Kardashian doesn't do anything and is famous for no reason, literally, she was Paris Hilton's assistant for years on end and then made a sex tape with another celebrity. So you're wrong and you should feel bad about that. On the one hand, you have people who become famous for being sort of a meme, like kombucha girl Brittany Broski, who is probably one of the funniest people on YouTube right now. Like her video where she is drunkenly doing her nails, it kills me every time. I've watched it 50 different times and for no reason I just adore it. Who gave her the right to be that funny and why? Why didn't they bless me with that? Overnight, Brittany went from working at a bank to making big girl money on YouTube, just being herself. YouTube and internet fame just came running towards her and kicked the shit out of her life path and said, no, you're doing this instead. And she is now thriving because of this. Then you had the Alex from Targets and the Wolfie Cindy's, aka the look at this hot person who is hot, wow, aren't they hot? Now they have 1 million followers just because people want to be them. Literally, Wolfie Cindy got her platform just because Justin Bieber thought she was hot and got weird about it. And frankly, I don't think that's talked about enough. Why'd he do that? That was so odd of him. But somewhere in between those two places, between memes and hotness, you have TikTok, which might be banned, but also Microsoft is looking to buy it in its entirety, therefore it won't be banned, That makes no sense to me. Can someone explain it in the comments down below? I have a very small tater tot brain, so even airplanes don't make sense to me, so put it in very basic terms. I am so confused about it, I can't explain. TikTok is a place where most top creators are just hot people trying to be relatable to us non-hots and getting massive that way seemingly overnight. It is filled with these young people, usually between the ages of 15 to 25, who get famous insanely fast and go from earning nothing to earning thousands of dollars per day just because they are attractive and know a few dances. These people are forced to live in this new world where their DMs are suddenly flooded with people praising them, telling them how cool, hot, beautiful, and more they are. And they are forced to live with this added pressure of being a celebrity when they have no training on doing so. A great example of this is Charli D'Amelio, who despite going to parties in the middle of a pandemic, like a total loser, is more or less responsible with her platform, using it to promote positive social change and talk about the current state of the world. Again, that is excluding when she went out and partied during a pandemic. I cannot stress to you enough how terrible that is and how everyone who does that is in fact a dork. But today we aren't going to be talking about Charli or even the weird obsession people have with her weight and how that's constantly talked about online as if it's normal. No, we are going to be talking about a different TikTok star who got his fame incredibly fast, let it go to his head, and has allegedly been using that fame to pressure his young fans, his minor fans, into sending him inappropriate images of themselves. And that person is Tony Lopez. So let's get into this. Hey guys, it's Shannon, and before I do talk about Tony and the complete and utter buffoonery he is up to and the disgusting allegations against him, I do want to shout out another creator who I love, and that is Tamimi. Mimi is a fantastic creator who is constantly making commentary content, and frankly, she's probably one of the best researchers on YouTube that I've ever seen. She literally spends so much time and puts so much effort into her videos, and she makes me want to be better just by being amazing herself. Also, she is definitely one of the most caring, empathetic people I have ever known, and has come to me time and time again asking how we can help the people who we both talk to, asking about victims that we can help who are going through hard times, and how we can give voices to the voiceless. She is the reason that there is currently an FBI investigation into Davi Vanity, and she is the reason why I strive to be a better person with my platform. She is by and large amazing. So if you like me even a little bit, even slightly, you will love her. You will adore her. She is me, but better. I am going to link her in the description down below, but please check her out. She is bonkers in the best way possible. Anyway, let's quit being positive and talk about the negative, which is Tony Lopez, a man who is famous for doing this. Wow, what moves, what talent, what skill. I fucking hate it. If you Google Tony Lopez, it will say that he is a 57-year-old boxer, which is hilarious to me, but that of course is not the one we're talking about. The Tony we are talking about is a 20-year-old TikTok star who rose to fame by, like I said earlier, being an attractive man. Oh, and also tweeting things like this: "Are Latina women worth it? Asking for a friend," which I would respond with, "Worth what, sir? Please elaborate on this thing you said last year in 2019 on Twitter publicly that you thought was both hip and relatable, and clearly agreed enough to think it was good enough to tweet. He is also famous for doing popular TikTok dances, mugging for the camera, and all in all trying to do what every other male with a jawline is doing with the platform, which is to exist on camera, basically. Frankly, if you can make a living out of existing, out of just doing that, I say go for it. He also became a member of the Hype House, which to me just seems like the TikTok fuckboy version of Team 10. Like, think Team 10, but worse, and everyone's douchier. That's what Hype House is. They really looked at the rise and fall of Team 10 and said, yeah, we can do that, but worse. And oh boy, is it worse. But hey, at least he isn't being predatory to minors and sending them Snapchats saying things like, show me your boobs, and basically grooming his young fan base who idolizes him, right? At least he's not doing that super specific thing. Oh, because it's super specific, you already know the answer is yes? Dang. Multiple girls under the age of 18 have come forward with their experiences with Tony, stating that they were contacted by Tony and exploited by him. Tony made it a point to try and get close to these girls, tell them they were beautiful, wonderful, they were his babes, they were his baby, and they meant the world to him, which, seeing as he was doing this to multiple different girls at the same time, is highly unlikely. And after he had properly groomed them for a good amount of time, he would ask them for X-rated material, which is illegal. And, if you didn't know, it's just plain old disgusting. Full on, full out, point blank, period. A 20-year-old adult man who is famous only for having a jawline on the internet and has millions upon millions of followers, exploiting the power dynamic of someone who is 15, who's a fan of you, and asking that 15-year-old for those photos, yeah, that's disgusting. No questions asked. You don't even need context. It's gross. He can shack up with Austin Jones in prison, and they can talk about how it's really sad for them to be convicted of crimes they committed it because they're such cuties and they just didn't know any better. I'm gonna barf real quick. Let me be right back. Don't worry though. Tony isn't like other creeps online. He doesn't just ask for photos of people who are under the legal age because he wants to be a gross piece of garbage that even a raccoon wouldn't eat. He also allegedly sent some of himself, which means that if these allegations are proven true, and if these photos exist, there are actual pieces of evidence that these young girls have on their phones, despite Tony mainly using Snapchat to talk to them. By the way, this is a PSA. Just so you guys are aware, if you are a minor, an adult asks you for nudes on Snapchat, if they send you a message asking for that, you need to save those messages. Do not delete them. Do not let them go away. You can save messages by pulling them to the left and locking them, which I only know because I have to do that with all my Snapchats because I have the brain of a gopher, and if I can't see the conversation we're having, I won't remember what was said. But if a grown-ass man or woman messages you inappropriately, asks something like that, you need to save that because that's not legal, and you need to tell someone about it, and you need to show it to the police. So let's read the messages that Tony allegedly sent on his private Snapchat and Instagram to a 15-year-old fan. On September 1st, she sent him messages that said, hey, and on the same day, he responded, hey cutie. Now, I know I'm not nearly as big as Tony Lopez on literally any platform, but I get messages literally all the time, every day. The other day, I posted about the Onceler and how he's hot, and I got 30 messages in the span of an hour telling me both no and also hitting on me for some reason, because apparently my Onceler tweet is hot. I don't get it. So despite what Mariah on Twitter says, she DMing a creator she likes first is not entrapment. That's not anything, because it's entrapment if you lie about it. It's entrapment if you say, oh, I'm 18, but you're not 18. That's entrapment. Messaging a creator that you happen to like, that's not entrapment. A 15-year-old reaching out to a creator that they like on social media is not gross, and it's not fucked up, Mariah. And I guarantee you that this woman has done the same herself at some point in her life. I mean, frankly, I've done it too. I literally sent Johnny Depp a message 2 weeks ago. Why? I didn't think he would see it. I just wanted to tell him I appreciated him on the off chance he did. She then goes on to say, wow, you actually answered, crying emoji. And he says, ahaha, I did. She responds with an, do you have a snap? And then he gives her his private Snapchat, which is Tony Lopez Prive, and she replies, bet, I'm gonna text you on there. Here are a couple of the Snapchat messages that were saved. We can't see them fully and the photo photos that are in them because they are censored, since once again, supposedly inappropriate images were sent. But I want to read you some of the responses Toni had to her images. Mind you, this is still the first person who came forward. This is still the same victim, who is 15 years old. In response to a photo she sent, he said, "You're so beautiful. I hope nothing but blessings in your life and you thrive to be the best woman you can be," which is nice. It just kind of seems like something like a family member would say to you. So it's fine, I guess. It's like neutral. It's not anything. In response to another photo, she says though, he responds to this minor by just calling her babe. Just babe. He responds to other photos of her that she sent with mine and yum. So you know that this is flirting. Calling this person like mine and babe is just, something you casually do when you're talking to someone who isn't even old enough to drive a car. This person can't even drive a car legally. Meanwhile, you're a year out from being able to legally drink. Which again, I don't think he cares about the legalities of anything because he's been drinking with his hype house buddies during the pandemic parties that are helping the spread of COVID-19. Have I mentioned that, by the way? Because he's also doing that. He's also partying like Jake Paul and Tana Mojo. Trash human all around. Shoot him into space. In response to some photos she posted on her Instagram story, he responded by calling this minor his baby, and that's saying her face is just so kissable. Again, just what you do to a 15-year-old. So, at the very least, these messages show that he's incredibly predatory towards his young as heck fans, to the point where some are being promised a relationship with him, being told that they're his, which is obviously something these young girls would be interested in, seeing as he is internet famous Toni Lopez, who they look up to. At minimum, this shows him exploiting his fame and the power dynamic that comes with it, which is gross. End of discussion. But that is not all. Another minor then came forward after this last one did and showed the messages between her and Toni as well, where he does the same exact thing. This man has got it to a science. In response to pictures of her, he calls her baby. He hits on her, and he is generally flirty with her. But then he sends a message that I literally cannot say because it's so raunchy that I would laugh saying it. Like, he sends her a message that is so sexually charged that I could never say it seriously. All of these things make me like uncomfortable and like grossed out that I laugh, but he's sending this to a minor. A minor is receiving a message from someone she idolizes and being told to do this very sexually explicit thing. So, okay. Also, he simply hits her with the classic send nudes line, which is as lazy as it is gross. Let me be clear. Talking to a fan your age, great, fine. There's still that weird power dynamic, so is it generally healthy? Probably not. But at the very least, they are not a minor. But this is the second person to come forward with documented proof that he is doing this on the same Snapchat account. And not only that, there's bona fide evidence in this case that he knew exactly how young this person was. Because in a post of her talking about her 16th birthday, he comments by saying, "Oh, you young." So before that, maybe he didn't know how old she was. But after that, he does. That is him full on stating on Snapchat, "Oh, I know your legal age. Now I know our comments and our conversations are super inappropriate. Now I should cease contact immediately because I told a minor to send me nudes. I told her to be sexually explicit with me, and I allegedly did the same thing to her." But did he cease communication after that? Did he explain, "Oh, I've made a mistake"? Nope, not according to her screenshots, because later on he went on to comment on another photo of her from her Snapchat and once again hit on her. This grown ass, adult ass, full ass man who has millions of followers, namely teens, saw her age, commented on her age, and basically said, "Hey guys, I know talking in this way to this person is not necessarily illegal and I could get in trouble for it," and still went back and did it. Still went back and responded to her. Still talked to her as if she is a sexually viable option for him, as if it's not inappropriate. It's kind of like when you're watching To Catch a Predator and the guy messages the child and asks them if they're a cop, and the cops lie and say, "No, I am a child." And the predator is like, "LOL, okay, cool with me that you're a kid. That's fine." Like, you just admitted and showed that you know what you're doing is wrong, and you still did it. Like, how are you this stupid, you absolute tool bag? Were you dropped on your head? Obviously, Toni was at some point with his pandemic partying and all of this, because Jesus Christ, how can one person be so stupid? I don't understand. More people are coming forward about this, and frankly, I expect there to be more people showing proof of what Toni has done. However, I think the most disappointing part about all of this is the amount of young girls around the ages of Toni's victims who are making excuses for Toni doing this. I already showcased one, that being the tweet from Mariah, but so many young women are defending him, saying that these girls should feel, quote, lucky he hit on them, and they should stop complaining that he's basically using them. And it makes me so fucking upset because that is absolutely not true. TikTok stars have massive platforms. They have millions upon millions of followers who want to see them do well and support them. The culture shock of them going from a normal teenage person to super famous the next day is a lot to handle. But to use your fame to have gotten to exploit young, impressionable people, like this is just disgusting. Tony is wrong for doing this. Point blank, period. End of discussion. And the young girls who are defending him are even more likely to be exploited by him because he has now fostered a community where this is normal. This is seen as normal. He's going to see these girls defending him and do the same to them. Frankly, I think these victims need to go to the police first and foremost. We have proof that he knew the age of at least one of the minors he exploited and still messaged her asking for these photos. And something more needs to be done other than get him off the platform. Everyone is trying to say deplatform him, get him offline, and that is good. But I'm saying throw this person in fucking prison. He broke the law and that's where he should go. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Am I being too hard on him? No, I'm not. I know I'm not. Is this just a Hannah Montana moment in your mind where it's just another case of everyone makes mistakes and everyone has those days? Or is this, full-blown predatory behavior done by someone who has a massive platform and a huge amount of influence over young women? I know it's the latter, but let me know what you think. And with that, I am out of here, guys. Have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Later.